Good morning, East Texas. It's time to rise and shine with the sun, the Grand Saline sun, right here on VZTV. Grab your coffee and come join the fun.
Good morning, our VZTV family. It is Friday. We are wrapping up it's been a pretty crazy week right here on VZTV. We are, today, if you can tell, we are sort of a little bit shy on the council because we were supposed to have a guest. They didn't show up, but great news. Our weekly partner in crime, John Ring, is on the line, and he's going to be a part of us here in just a little bit. But right now, guys, I want to do a little bit of a smoke signals, following up a little bit of conversation with an FBI agent last night. Let's get into it. All right. Last night, I got to say a big shout out to Stuart Fillmore, retired FBI agent. He came on here, spent a couple hours with us last night, and I want to say thank you to the guy. He came in and he gave us some of the best quality content we've seen. But what I really wanted to do into my smoke signals today is, guys, something that was brought up last night. This is a conspiracy that's been going on 61 years. 61 years plus of finger pointing, lies and manipulation and misdirection and misinformation and however you want to brand it. Now, y'all hear me on this show all the time, and I'm not doing it to target anybody but one group of people, and that is the unreachable politician. If you're not an unreachable politician, if you're a guy that is open to the public, the press, and the people that vote for you, then this is not a message for you. I don't care if you've been up there 100 years or if you've been up there 2 years. This is not a message for you if you are approachable. If you are someone that will sit down and actually have a decent conversation, even with those you do not agree with, then this is not a message for you. But for every other politician up there that looks out their nose at us, that when we come and talk to somebody, this is a message for you. The lies are coming unraveled. Now, the 61-year mystery of JFK, we have a definitive way, as Mr. Fillmore said last night. There are ways to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt of if we were lied to by the government, even though I don't think there's too many people out there that would doubt that we were lied to. Why I say this, when me and Mr. Fillmore were leading up to last night, I was going to do, and I think I even mentioned it on the show, that I was going to play the devil's advocate, and I was going to sit there and I was going to argue the case of the government. I was going to do the official talking points. I was going to support the official talking points. I was going to do basically something that I will just let you know makes me feel a little bit dirty. Oh, wow, that's a very close-up shot of me. Let me scoot that back a little bit. But anyway, I think Miss Katie's going to come over here and handle it. But anyway, 61 years of lies. But back when that lie was told, there was no VZTV morning show. There was no internet. There was no Facebook, TikTok. There was no 4K phone. I mean, the phone that you're seeing on the Facebook, if you're watching Facebook right here, that's a cell phone. That's an Apple iPhone 17 or whatever it is that I got the last time I upgraded. And so they're on every corner. Now, I've stood up on my soapbox many a times and talked about how I have been told and insulted that everybody with one of those cell phones is now a journalist. And I'm going to tell you right now, you tell me that everybody that's got a cell phone is a journalist, I'll say that everybody with a gun in their hip is a cop. I'm just going to tell you right now, you know that's not true, and you can't say that. There's a difference in what we do here at the media and what the Facebook junk is being used for. But the good thing about that is there are people out there, such as a Nick Shirley, who is a guy that has good intentions. He is not someone that is going out there to spread propaganda or lies. And these cell phones unveil the man behind the carpet because we can see what goes on in real time. Sadly, we are being force-fed dump truck fulls of information, and it's hard to decipher what is actually good tasting and passes the sniff test and what's just crap, and you get tired before you finally find the little nugget of truth because there's so much lie out there. But the day of being able to hide a conspiracy without it being brought to light is over with, because as we see, there are men that actually fought the fight for the government, and they look at it and say, hey, we were lied to. Stewart was one of those that was brazen enough to sit there and look at the evidence and say, hey, it does not add up. The tiger shark radius of the bite is not what Jaws's jawline would have left a mark. If the glove didn't fit, you must have quit. And we have to sit there and we look at the evidence that was presented to us last night, and that just further confirms the fact that we knew we were lied to. And guys, I'll tell you this right now. When we sit there and we deal with people day in and day out, we know where to look for red flags. If you go on a date with a woman in the first 5 minutes you meet that woman or that man, and they tell you a lie, and it is such a blatant lie that it is so easily disprovable, and yet they expect you to believe it carte blanche, no questions asked, then you probably won't go on a second or third date, because if they generally do that once, it's going to be habitual. And most people do not want to be around someone that lies. And I mean, I don't know anybody that would want to be around a liar. Most time you find liars, they're pretty much isolated because people don't hang around them, or if they do, nothing they say in the mass even matters. We have a government that has been feeding us shovelfuls and dump truck fulls and dadgum conveyor belt fulls of bull crap for years. And we keep electing the same people that lie to us. And they lie to us because they're not approachable. They lie to us because they know that they're not going to have to shake my hand and answer my questions. Well, we have guys out there now with mediums like VZTV, with mediums like Wood County Now, with mediums like anybody out there with a podcast that wants to ask real questions and be honest. There are those people out there. With the archiving of all these episodes, you can go back and you can vet. I tell most people right now, my app is my best selling point. I tell them, go look at what I do. Go see where I stand. Go see how I approach everything and get back to me. And guess what? People walk in the door, and we are getting credentials in these seats. The credentials, Mr. Fillmore, Mr. Todd Hiles is going to be coming in, which is his partner on, Mr. Fillmore's partner on the podcast. We've got people calling from Kentucky that did independent studies on 9/11 telling me that I was wrong and presenting, I mean, honestly, I don't know what I believe right now. I'm going to say, Mr. Carroll, chimney effect, I get it. There's some things that I'm still, but it makes a little bit more sense now after listening to someone way smarter than me. But as I say, a fool has a closed mind. I do not want to be considered a fool, so I keep my mind open to evidence and actualities. And that's what I ask you guys to do, evidence and actuality. These people that are on Capitol Hill that we vote for, they have a voting record. They have a stance out there in public. They have a home life that is pretty much on Facebook. I mean, most of them have a media team. You can see the fruit of the tree. It all goes back to biblical scripture. The fruit of the tree, you can tell if it puts out rotten fruit, stinky fruit, or edible fruit. If we start doing that with all the mediums we have, and then other podcasters like myself sit out there and put the call, if you're not available to come on my show, then guess what? I'm not an advocate for you. Now, I understand busy schedules and I understand other things, but I see every one of these guys that I have approached on multiple different formats. And so I know they're available to come here. I shake hands with these guys at these events, even when y'all don't see it behind the camera. I get to say it's just like you do. You know, if you shake somebody's hands, how they look at you, how they respect you. And most of you can feel a cold handshake and you can feel a warm handshake. Well, shake the hands of the politicians. If you get the warm feeling from them and you can back it by their voting records and their personality and their private lives, then guess what? That might be a good candidate. If they come up and ask you, what do you feel? Then you know you've got a good candidate. If they come up trying to throw something down your throat and make their argument before you ever say hello, they're not even asking for your opinion. Are they really your representative? So go up, If they want to listen to you and answer your questions, then you might have someone that's approachable. If you have someone that wants to shake your hand as they walk right down the line of all the other people and they don't even look at you twice, maybe that's not the person you want to vote for. I'm just saying I want my representative to be approachable. So anyway, I know the approachable guys will be honest, and I know honest guys will not allow 61-year-old conspiracies to stand on their feet and be out here. Everybody else know the truth, but it not be admitted to. That's all I got to say about that. Let's roll right into my buddy, John Ring. What's going on, my brother? Oh, busy. We trying to fill time. Like I said, we had a guest today that didn't show up this morning. And so we sort of just rocking and rolling. I said, but I know one person that's right as rain, and that's my friend, John Ring. So how's life going for you, my friend?
It's going same as you. Busy. Planning walks. Social media nonstop.
We've missed you the past couple weeks on the show.
Yeah, I had family in town. I had like 8 people in my house all at one time. You know how that goes. Can't find a quiet spot, and they just keep you tied up. So between the businesses and walkforvets.org and just life in general, I was like, yep, I need a breather.
Yeah, Corbin's got a video. Were you able to get that queued up in time, Bubba? We don't have to play the whole thing.
I was, but I'd have to completely change the format to.
Oh, okay. Well, we had you were on a walk for PTSD awareness here recently. I saw it on TikTok, actually, right before I came on the show, and I sent it over to Corbin. So I was hoping we could get a little glimpse of you actually in action. So tell us a little bit about, because PTSD is a real thing. I mean, it's become sort of a catchphrase. It's been abused by many people that never served and never saw combat, but because they stumped their toe and their mama told them to suck it up, buttercup, now they've got PTSD. That's not what we're talking about. What you're talking about is real mental and emotional afflictions by someone that laid it all on the line. So tell us a little bit about what's going on that front.
So post-traumatic stress disorder, I mean, it's something that does plague everybody, whether it's somebody that was in a car accident or somebody that has experienced trauma, a male or a woman getting raped or something in that nature. All traumatic things that happen to people can result in post-traumatic stress disorder. The biggest thing is we're all built differently. So, some of us can handle more than others, so when it comes to the military, it's the same concept. In our times are changing, so veterans these days, they're growing up, they're playing video games, school, this and that, and they're going and enlisting in the military. So they're basically coming out of playing Call of Duty, for hours a day, going enlisting and then going away from home. Some kids never been away from home. So, I mean, even that's traumatic for some people,
Right.
But then you get more in depth when you talk about combat, when you see, friends and family members that are coming home from combat and they're completely different. Whether that's a traumatic brain injury, whether it's post-traumatic stress disorder, whether it's anxiety, depression, whatever you want to label it as. And I'll just talk about my oldest son, Trey, who was a gentle kid growing up, very gentle, very loving, very giving. Enlisted out of high school, went to Iraq at 19, came back a completely different kid. Very cold, very standoffish, didn't really want too much to do with his family. And he battled his own demons with alcoholism, some drug abuse, nothing severe, nothing bad, but it all creates a whirlwind effect, when you're battling trauma and when you're battling the things that you use to cover that trauma up, it just creates more devastation in an already horrific moment.
Right.
If that makes sense.
And it's something, what's sad is this is something that you didn't start after Trey's sad outcome. It was something that you'd been doing prior to this. So he was aware that this battle was a raging demon out there amongst those, and it still got him by the toe. And,
It did. It did because he's helped his friends. He's been
Yes.
there for his own friends. He's walked with me. And it's not just Trey. So when I enlisted back in 2013 as an old man, I saw guys my age that had been on 5, 6 deployments, and just very easily to set off with anger, emotion. And like I became close to these guys, and that's why I started this in the first place. That's why I started Buddy Watch Walk in 2019, was because I wanted to learn about the issues that veterans faced. I've seen guys I served with going through post-traumatic stress disorder, living every single day like it didn't exist, because that's what you have to do. I
Right.
mean, you suck it up, and you keep going. But at the end of the day, the people that feel that the most are your family, your spouse, your children. They're dealing with it nonstop, even if you can't see it as the veteran, even if you know there's something wrong, but you don't know what it is.
Right.
Your family is dealing with it probably more so than you are, because you're not coming to the reality that you have an issue, you have problems, and you need to get help. And so usually this is why the divorce rate is so high with the military. Well, one of the reasons, there's many reasons, but you know and suicide is so high is because these veterans, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but in a way their actions are tormenting their family.
Yes.
So their families deal with all this trauma, they deal with the roller coaster of emotions, and they start pulling away. They start separating themselves because they are realizing they're in a toxic situation, whether it's kids or the spouse protecting the children. Then the veteran's left with nobody,
Right.
and then by the time they realize they have a problem, they have nobody in their corner. Um, and their spouse and their kids are elsewhere a lot of times. Sometimes the veteran does realize they have an issue, and they see what they're doing to their family, and that's another reason why suicide is so high, because they don't want their family living with
Right.
that, and they just can't figure it out.
And a lot of these men, they try to carry that burden so their family doesn't have to, and then as it gets overwhelming, it's almost like trying to climb a mountain in roller skates. It's just almost, it feels like an impossible feat, which leads to the inevitable worst case scenario.
We all know as people that if you hold something in, it doesn't get better.
Right.
Like I don't care what it is. If you're holding something in because you're afraid to open yourself up for whatever reason, it's never going to get better. It's only going to grow. It's only going to get worse. So, like I always tell everybody, even if it's the littlest thing, communicate.
Exactly.
Communicate about it, because that little thing could be the biggest thing tomorrow, and there's no point in not communicating. We're
Right.
we're all built to coexist.
That's it.
And that's it. We have to coexist.
Well, and
And whether it's
there's been times that you, the man that generally is the caregiver to someone, the shoulder to cry on, you've come to me before because you've been overwhelmed, because when they come to you, when they share their burden with you, you carry that burden, and you've come to me before, and we've sat down and you said, I just needed to unwind, man. Sometimes it's just, it's a lot to carry. And you no matter if you're the guy, and a lot of times people that are out there trying to help, such as Trey was doing, they try to help and they carry that load, but they don't realize, okay, you've got the same needs as the guy you're helping. You can't just shoulder all of his load and go on with your own load as well. You need to have someone out there to share the load, and eventually it disperses out to the point to where it's manageable and we don't see these tragedies. And also, of course, addiction runs hand in hand with this kind of thing. So not always are people in their right state of mind, because and it doesn't have to, like my addiction was alcohol. It doesn't even have to be the hard stuff, the meth and all that stuff. I'm 8 years sober now, working on 9, and I can tell how my mind works today versus how it did in all them years of addiction. And so I was self-medicating for ADD and other things, and of course I just think I like the have fun. And so I was stupid. But at one point, I did not learn my lesson. I didn't point it down. And well, when you don't put it down, it goes into a landslide. I never even experienced any sort of traumatic experience of a soldier, but I struggled with addiction. I can't imagine someone out there that when they shut their eyes, they can't escape theirs. I was drinking to be numb. You know, you shut your eyes and you see it, you relive it.
Well, I always tell people that battle addiction and veterans, just anybody in general, um, you as a person have an addictive personality, right?
Yes.
So it's something that doesn't go away. You have to change the focus.
Yes.
And so somebody like yourself, I mean, I'm going to say you're a workaholic.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know what I mean? You drove all of that energy that you put into the alcoholism, and now you've changed your completely, your whole focus. And now, I mean, you're all about work. And I try to tell people that you can redirect what it is that you're doing in this moment to give you a positive outcome in life.
Right.
It doesn't have to be self-destructive. Now, can work be self-destructive? It can be.
It could be another addiction.
But, at the same time, you're still growing and you're still moving forward and you're being healthy to yourself.
Yes.
It's more related to self-care than anything else.
And also when you're healthier to your family, you give your family also that inlet for them to be a part of your life and not just be spectators on the outside of it. That's one thing that really helped me through my battle, which aside from, God said, Bert, if you ain't going to learn, I'm going to slap you in the back of the head with a ruler. And so he slapped some cuffs on me, made me sit 15 months in TDC, and that really got my attention. But for some, they don't, they go in and out of prison and it doesn't affect them that way. It doesn't, it's just another part of the landslide that is their life. And like I said, it's sad that our guys that give us the ability to sit here and have these conversations are fighting those kind of demons. It's heartbreaking.
It is. And especially when, you take somebody who served their country, and they did it honorably. And, because of something they experienced in the military, their mindset changes. They turn to alcohol. They turn to drugs. They end up losing some of that self-respect that they had for themselves.
Yes.
They get out of the military. They keep that going. They get in trouble. They get arrested. They go to jail. Now you've taken somebody who thought of themselves as very honorable, loved what they were doing, serving their country, and now they're at rock bottom.
Yes.
What are we doing to fix that? Are we lifting that person back up? Now, obviously, we know there's heinous crimes that are inexcusable.
Yes.
But I'm talking about like drug charges or alcohol charges, DUIs, things of that nature. There's minor charges that we can actually get that veteran out of there and lift them back up and give them that purpose. And that's what Walk for Vets is all about.
Right.
It's about bringing people out, giving them the time to talk and walk, get to know somebody, hear the personal side of somebody else's story, relate it to their own, and maybe they can be the help that person needs or
Right.
vice versa. It's giving people the time to get to know one another rather than, I've rode motorcycles,
Right.
drive, you don't get the time.
So you're in your own head on a
actually-
motorcycle. You're not sitting there having, we you brought up before we started airing, you're maybe fixed to be in studio with Matthews. That's where this all started. Where our first handshake was out there on Highway 80. And we stood out there on the side of the road for, I guess we sat there for 30, 45 minutes talking before we parted ways. And then I re-met you on the other side of Mineola and walked into town with you. And just that short walk, I mean, I say it was short. For you, it was short. For me, I was out there panting by the time we got into Grand Saline. But we bonded, and it's something that we carry still to this day. And Matthews, he coming back on the show, he was on that walk, and we've talked. He faces his own struggles. It's not just come out and do a walk and you're better. This is a continued thing. Come out, keep doing this kind of things because you got to stay plugged in and engaged in your wellness. And people don't have to join for, like you went from East Coast to West Coast. People don't have to do that. They come in and jump in for whatever's a comfortable distance for you. How do they come in and sign in on find out where you're walking and stuff?
So walkforvets.org. But I wanted to say something about that. You know, if you're an alcoholic or a drug addict and you sit there with a bottle or drugs and sitting in front of you on a table and you just sit there all day and
Right.
you just look at it, it's the same concept when it comes to the vet. You got to get away from what it is that you're looking at.
Yeah.
And you got to change your mindset and do something differently to put yourself in a different place. But going back to it, walkforvets.org. We have a walk. Actually, I have a big podcast that I'm doing with 5 other organizations in Jacksonville, Florida on August 22nd at the Veteran Legacy Community Festival. September 11th, we'll be in Dover, Delaware. We're doing a 4.5-mile walk in honor of all our first responders and veterans for 9/11. And then I'll be shooting out your way, be in the studio with Matthews on the 16th and the 16th and the 17th, or the 15th and the 16th, one of those two. And then we'll be heading to Nebraska for Kimball County. It's a hometown veterans walk. Jason Hanner, it's where he's from every year. He does 37 and a half miles across the county in 2 days, ended with the Farmers Day Parade. I love it up there. It's beautiful country, great people, patriotic. But yeah, I mean, just follow along with us, social media. We're on every platform. And, you know, every time we have a walk, you know, I create events, I put it out, I blast it all over the place.
And you're on here every week.
But you know what? Here's the thing about walkforvets.org. I don't have to do your walk. You know what I mean? Bert, if you sat there and say, hey, John, I want to do a walk in Grand Saline, or somebody else calls me up and says, hey, I live in Tacoma, Washington, and I want to do a walk, I'm going to support you. We can work together and put a plan together, and I will sit there and I will promote it on all our social media. And if my schedule permits, I'll be there.
Right.
Or somebody from Walk for Vets will be there. We are about supporting other people's missions as well, because, and we know this from the news side of things, when we work together, we create a better outcome. And that's what we're all about. I never close the door on an organization that has the right mission, the right outlook, and
Right.
and they're solely focused on it. I will never close the door. I will always help another organization out. It's when you're not that way, then I'll close the door.
Yeah.
And I've had to do that
And
several times.
I can
with other
attest,
organizations.
because you're always traveling. You're always out here doing these different, like I said, different walks. You're always a part of these little groups. And it's like I said, I got the utmost respect for that. Speaking of, if you, it's August 8th, we have that Heroes event here in Canton, Texas. And we're going to be doing a live broadcast from there. And we've got the poster we'll put up during the announcements later. I think maybe Corbin may be even trying to put it up now. Okay. No, he was just shot. Anyway, we'd love to have you out there. Of course, get us all the material you've got for us to hand out, because this is to celebrate East Texas Heroes. There's going to be a military show. There's going to be a car show, a swap meet, but most importantly, it's going to be a crowd full of those that put footprint on battlefield for our right to be here. And a thank you goes a long way in the ears of a vet, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And the thing is, like, I saw a lady share this the other day. It was actually out in Wood County. She just retired 35 years from the Air Force. And she said her retirement isn't about time off. It's about more time to help people. It's
Right.
giving her more time to be out there and opening up her schedule to be involved in helping all those other people that have served. And I love that outlook, because that's what it's all about. You know,
Right.
service members understand service, you know, and I'm not saying people that didn't serve can't help. I mean, it happens all the time, and I love it.
Oh, yeah.
But if you served, you know what that person has gone through. You know, the story and the basic training and the schedules and the traveling and the deployments. You understand that. So I love seeing people step up to help other people like themselves.
Right. And it's honorable that when you go and you face the same struggle on the battlefield, and you come home and you help somebody. That's a servant's heart. I mean, that's just all there is. And there's nothing that you can say again, I mean, a servant's heart is what heals the world. I mean, it really does. And it doesn't matter what level of service. Like you said, you have to be a servant to go into the military. I mean, to even conceive of going out there and facing the mortal dangers that you do and the lifelong emotional struggles, you've got to have a servant's heart to say, yeah, I'll take that on me so you can live free. So hats off to everything you do on that. Did you have anything that we didn't talk about on the veteran side of things?
Well, I just want to say, like, look, today is Red Friday. Remember, everybody deployed, and that means something, and it means a lot more this week. We lost 4 soldiers this past week.
Been a rough week.
Three in Jordan, 1 in Iraq, mostly drone attacks. That means something. That's heavy, because we sit back here in the States and we're like, oh, we're not in war. We're not, and people are looking at the Iran war. I'm not going to play politics right now, but, it's a conflict and it's happening. And we have soldiers over there that are doing the work. And you could sit there and you could agree or not agree with the conflict and why we're there and this and that. But the fact of the matter is, they don't call the shots. They're doing a job. They're serving our nation.
They took the shots.
They are sent. They're sent where they're sent, and they don't have any control over that. But us as a nation, we don't need to be critical of their service. We can be critical of the political side of things that put us in that situation. And by all means, if you feel like you need to speak out against the person that took us there, by all means, that's your freedom. Right. But let's not tear apart and tear down the soldiers that are serving this country. You might not agree with where they were and their death and why they died, but do not take away their honor and respect for political purposes. That is the biggest pet peeve I have. I've seen so many negative comments on posts that I've done, supporting and honoring these soldiers that passed away this, last week. And it's just disgusting to me. It's disgusting to me to see that a political agenda get carried over into that type of post and content. It's horrible.
Well, and it's people that do that really give me evidence for my belief in dragging somebody in the alley and whooping their butt. And I know that's not PC these days, but I honestly, I saw a video the other day. It was on Facebook. The national anthem was going, and there was a young man sitting there in the baseball stadium, and he was still seated, probably looking at his phone or something like that. A man was standing up behind him, older gentleman, and he looked down there at that, and I say kid, the guy was probably 23, 24 years old. I mean, he was younger, but he wasn't a kid. And the guy looked down there at him and told him to stand up, and the kid was just looking at him, and then all of a sudden, the old boy slapped him in the back of the head, and the kid stood up, and then the guy looked at him and said, "Thank you, young man," and then covered his heart and went back to the and you know what? Sometimes I think we need to bring back that old slap in the back of the head. My mama used to do it. My daddy used to do it. Sometimes we just need to be able to bring back that old slap in the back of the head and say, come on, guys. And when somebody does what they, when you go out and trash somebody that gave their life. I mean, Charlie Kirk's another one. Charlie Kirk did nothing to hurt nobody. And he lost his life. And the fact that his passing has been such toxicity, and it's like that was a murder. And if you can't appreciate the fact that that was murder, no matter if you agreed with the guy or not, the fact that you would think that it was okay for him to take his last breath prematurely, that shows you're a sick person. And I believe that if you've got that kind of sickness in you, then we ought to be able to take you out in the back alley or out behind the woodshed and handle business, because that's disgusting.
Controversial and compassion are two separate words.
Amen, baby.
And the thing is, like, was Charlie Kirk controversial? Absolutely.
Amen.
You're not going to have a real conversation about anything without having controversy. I mean, that's the whole idea of having a conversation.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have that. And to be able to talk through that, to be able to listen to the other person, to be able to, put yourself in their shoes and their thought process.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's going to change your mind, but to give that person that respect, that's everything. We're losing that. We have lost that in this country.
Well, and
you see it on the media side of things, but I mean, also too, the media is a big part of that. Bert, we know.
Oh
that,
yeah, amen.
I mean,
that's why I started VZTV.
Headline. We are a headline news world these days.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, it's disgusting to see the things that are
Well,
going on out there
you
in
know
the
what's really
media. And
and it's really sad, and that, like I said, that's why I brought VZTV up, because I believe that our corrupt media now has become propaganda. It's no longer media. I mean, you might see and hear about events that happen, but how the events that happen are framed is completely propagandic. And I do not. And so I started this. Like I said, I've always told everybody, I believe journalism's got to come back down to the local guy that you can knock in the nose if he lies to you and misleads you. And like I said, I started this right here, but I say all that to say this, that the propaganda has got to be recognized for what it is. You and I do not see eye to eye politically on several issues. We've had those conversations, and yet here we are. We live each other like brothers. James Cooley and I, he's on the show yesterday before he come on the show. We were talking, and he's got some different doctrinal beliefs than I do in our faith. And he and I were sitting there talking, and I told him straight up, I said, well, you and I are different places on the timeline in our agreement. I said, but I believe doctrinally, we're still pointing everybody the right way. You're not giving a false gospel, blah, blah, blah. And he said, you know what? And I love the fact that we can talk about it like this, and it's like, until you can have a conversation with somebody you don't agree with, and we don't have that now. Nowadays, everybody's in little cliques and clusters, and so like if you want your news, everybody's got their favorite propaganda station that they go watch, and then when they go out socially, they hang out with their own little clusters and stuff like that, and all that becomes is just it's become a communal cancer, where it just sits there and these false ideals grow and fester. And I'm talking about on both sides of the aisle. One side thinking one group's a Nazi, the other side thinking the other side are snowflakes. And, it's all, it's like the back and forth banter has become so toxic that why would you want to go talk to the other person that doesn't agree with you? Because it's going to be a toxic conversation.
Yeah, so when I was walking on that first walk, before I even met you, I was in Mississippi and I'm walking, and there was a state senator, Tyler McCon. Still friends today. I can message that guy within 15 minutes. He responds back. But I was on my first walk. He was newly elected to the state Senate, and he drove all over the place looking for me. I think I passed him. I mean, I don't know. We missed each other a few times, but he drove around for about 45 minutes looking for me. He got to me, he had some water for me, and he said, John, I'm newly elected state senator. He was like, I know nothing about serving in our military. Can I ask you some questions? Can I ask you what your mission is? And can I pick your brain a little bit so I can better serve the veterans here in the state of Mississippi? And we sat there and talked for probably well over an hour. And I went on my way. I came back through and did another walk going the opposite direction. He came back out again. That guy, by all the politicians that I've met across the country, that guy right there, he could call me right now and be like, hey, John, I lost my cup. Can you come help me find it? I'll drive to Mississippi and help that guy find his cup. And because that's a representative. That's somebody who does their job the way it's meant to be.
And I think somebody was listening to my smoke signals when I first kicked in. That's exactly the kind of guy that we try to attract right here. I tell everybody, VZTV's a garden. Uh-oh.
Did we freeze?
I think we did. It says we're trying to reconnect. I can still hear you in my ear. Right? You're still there? Oh, nope. I think we lost John. We're still live on the internet, right? I hope we are.
He's checking.
Okay. Anyway, Corbin will be working to get John back if we can't. I'm sorry. I hate that happened. That's John. John's good people. We appreciate him being on the show every week and keeping us updates. But it's been we've been having boogers of issues with this internet and getting it through. And I think I saw him starting to pixelate a little bit earlier. What you got, Bubba?
Nothing coming up. So we're still recording. So just go as you.
Oh, no internet?
Yeah, it looks like it crashed again, so we'll have to call the company.
Okay. Well, then by golly, that stinks that we lost internet and I guess we lost John on that. We're gonna finish this up. I hate that. Kay, did you have something? You've been over all morning long, all nice and quiet as a church mouse. Did you have anything you wanted to say?
Well, that would be because I don't have anything
Yeah,
for this week.
Well, man, I hate that. We'll have to figure that out. I'm gonna have to call Max Connects and figure out what's going on with that. I don't understand why in the world we're having internet issues the past couple of days. So I'll have to reach out to them. Let me check my email. Make sure nobody said okay. Paid in. See, look, I want everybody to see. It says right here, paid invoice. I got the receipt. So I don't know why in the world. So don't ask me. I don't know. Anyway, guys, I'm sorry. We'll figure it out. It's Friday. Y'all don't want to be here with me anyway. Y'all want to be out doing something fun. I'm going to try. I guess I will say this. I'm going to try to tease it. I'm going to try to get the Gamecock story together for next week, and I'm hoping that we can sit down and discuss that because that's got a lot of people talking. So we're going to get that one set up. And Corbin, did you get that one interview of him that I sent over to you? I said I posted on the Grand Sling Sun.
Oh, well, I can't see anything because the internet's out completely.
So that's right.
I can't access the web.
Oh, okay. So we're basically down to nothing. We're limping along. We just hold on. Here's old John. Let me answer it. What's going on, John?
Hey, tell Corbin if he wants to shut me up.
He said that our internet crashed again and we don't know why. And so
Yeah, I think you guys are going to have to. What do you have now?
well, we have this thing called Max Connects. We've gotten it, but ever since we started doing video broadcast, it has gotten a little bit more difficult to keep a steady stream. And the past 2 days, we've had it crash on us. That's what happened yesterday.
Yeah.
And so we thank goodness it made it through.
Looked into satellite.
Yeah, I started once to look at that Starlink, and here I'll hold it like this. I guess I can do this. I started once looking at Starlink, but I couldn't find the telephone number for Starlink to call somebody. And I hate going into when I can't talk to a living person.
Yeah.
Corbin, Katie's got one over there for you. Corbin's trying to find us a microphone. I can hold it over here underneath the speaker. Right now, I got you over here by my mic. We're sharing a mic.
Nah, we ain't got to do all that.
Oh, well, we was about ready to wrap up, but I know that you've probably got a sponsor that you've want to. Oh.
I'll do it next week. No worries.
Well, he's fixing to hold on. Yeah, go. You go ahead and do it. We got a microphone right here ready for you. There's always one way to improvise. We may not look like Fox News Channel, but we do look like Coyote News Channel. So, you got it. All right, go for it. Tell us a little bit of Wood County news and throw out your sponsor out there. Y'all got a lot of good vendors over there.
Yeah, we do, and I'm gonna put up Cyclops gutter services. Take care of all your gutter services. These guys are awesome. Dale's a great guy. Had no complaints. I've only seen good things from his work. So definitely reach out to Cyclops Gutter Services, cyclopsservices.com. And they'll clean your gutters, do installation, and get you set squared away for the next big rainstorm to come through Wood County.
All right.
But as far as Wood County goes, you have to have a secret clearance to get information in Wood County.
So do you have that clearance?
No, I don't have that clearance. I think they changed
The access code?
The access code. But, it's you see bits and pieces that they put out, and a lot of times when you post, I get like 300 messages. Hey, where's the rest of that story? That's a good question. Let's make a phone call, because And Wood County is really known for that. They like to put out bits and pieces, but never the full story.
Yeah, that's sort of across the board. I think a lot of that's common practice. So did you have anything coming up in August that you wanted to promote before we called it a show with you?
Nah, I think we're good there. I do have some stuff for Wood County, but I'm going to push that out for next week. There's lots of events going on, as always, but I'm going to definitely get some of that stuff going next week and, share some stuff. But just come to our Facebook page, check out, what's going on around the county. You can always reach out to us, promote your events and your businesses.
All righty. Well, John, we appreciate you being on the show. And even though it was not quite the perfect appearance, we still got you on there and we got to say goodbye in the appropriate manner. And we'll see you next week, brother.
Yes, sir. You guys have a great week, and I'll catch you next week.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All righty. There we go. At least we got to wrap it up like that. Anyway, so back to what I was going to say. I'm going to be working on that Gamecock story. It's definitely an interesting one. It's gotten a lot of attention online, a lot of talk because the ASPCA in Van Zandt County, of course, they get hate like any other law enforcement agency does. But this one right here, it looks like there may have been a slip up. And so we're going to dive into that next week, next Monday. Y'all go out, have a good day. And like I said, we'll get this show up online here shortly. We've got the one with Stuart Fillmore. That's what I was going to tell you. Right after we get off of here, I'm going to go over there, and on the live channel, I'm going to replay the Stuart Fillmore interview from last night because it was a great, man, you do not want to miss this show. If you're listening on Facebook, the app, you can see it right there on the channel. It's Roku, Amazon Fire, iPhone, and Android. Y'all go download the app. In the comment section, you'll see live.grandslingson.com and go click that link. It'll take you to the live broadcast. And as soon as we get off here, I'm going to walk over to the computer. I'm going to change up because I didn't want it to start while we were on air. And so I'm going to go over there. I'm going to set it up. So if y'all just hang in about 5 minutes, I'll walk over and I'll get that show rolling on the live channel, and it'll be put up in our video on demand as well. Anyway, you guys have a great weekend. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Katie, for all your input on the show today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We would have never gotten through it without you. Her and Corbin were over there doing sign language, and so that's probably why you saw her fighting flies over there.
As of 16 minutes ago, LeBron has made his decision.
Uh-oh.
He's going to the 76ers.
Going to the 76ers. That actually seems sort of fitting. Seems sort of fitting. Philly. All righty. Well, guys, you heard it here first. LeBron's going to the 76ers. We know what court he's going to be flopping on the court, saying he's injured on. So is Bronny going with him?
No.
That is up to the team.
Oh, okay.
He just signed with the Lakers, so that's gonna have to be that's gonna have to be a trade and a transfer contract.
Oh yeah, and didn't LeBron do that on purpose?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, yeah. Anyway, that's all that soap opera on the NBA side. I don't keep up with sports.
I don't even watch NBA.
Yeah.
So.
Anyway, guys, thank y'all for being here today. Y'all have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday on VZTV, baby.
Bye.